Hey there and happy Monday. I am very under the weather, but I also really wanted to stay on schedule. Sometimes it's less stressful, less tiring to stay on schedule than it is to try and play catch up after being sick and such. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to see how today goes. Today was a big day. The first of the month is always big. I get out my newsletter, and Stampin' Up! Also gave us a surprise clearance rack refresh. Hey there, Lisa. And I wasn't expecting that. So I was trying to get my newsletter out, let people know about the clearance rack refresh. And then there's also, here we have it, the last chance list. So the mini catalog is going to be retiring some products. And so there's a last chance list, and some of these are on sale. And then they also gave us a carryover list. And so the carryover list contains things that will be carrying over so that there won't be any change in ordering. You can just keep ordering things because they're carrying over, but some items are carrying over, but not until the July through December mini catalog. So they're kind of just bringing back holiday items at the holiday time again. Hey there, Brenda. Hi, Pam. And so with that, those carryover lists were posted on my Facebook page here a few days ago. And then if you normally get my emails, those carryover lists would be in the email too, as well as news about the clearance rack refresh too. And so you guys have kept me on my toes with good questions and such too. Hi, Amy. We had our team meeting last night via Facebook Live, and wasn't sure if I could get through that without coughing too much. So Amy, I hope I sound better. I don't know. I probably don't sound better, but I'm just not coughing the entire time. So let me get started with card number 1 out of 10 for December for you guys. And I'm excited because the cute penguin punch is back in stock. This has been unorderable for quite a while, and it is now back in. So I knew today, kicking off card number 1, that is what I wanted to show you guys. And that brings up a point too with back orders. Stampin' Up! Wants to be smart and with their back orders. So now once they have items that are on back order, they're not going to allow any back orders. When things are out of stock, they're out of stock. You can't order them until they are restocked. So hopefully they can get better wording, because right now it might say unavailable, and so you might, or out of stock, so you think it's never coming back in. And okay, so Brenda, you've been sick too. A lot of people got sick that went to the retreat. It is not, for me, it's not COVID. It hasn't been COVID for anybody, but that's sad to know too, because quite a few people got sick, even though we had a great time at the retreat. So sorry to hear that. But back to back orders. So once items get restocked, then you can get it again. So it would be unusual for something to be out of stock and then have it just disappear, unless it's on the retiring list, of course. So that goes for annual catalogs, mini catalogs, anything like that. And so that's just a change. And I'm actually glad that they are being smart about that, because I don't want them to put their money, their profits, into shipping out back orders and raising our prices overall to get that going either. So hey there, Kay, thanks for sharing. So let me get started with my card, but if you have any questions about any of that, anything that I've mentioned, the sales that are starting today, the back orders, anything, or help with ordering, please let me know. So let me put down my iPad so I can see your comments here. And yeah, so I'm much later today because I took a very long nap this afternoon, much needed nap. And I'm just realizing I totally forgot to put my December host code up. But you guys know I will post a picture of this card when I'm done with my video, and that will have the December host code up. It's been in my newsletter and different things too, but today is the first day of December. So I'm really loving this embossing folder. It's a duo. I'll show you once I get using it, but it just is a nice highlight and backdrop for the cute little penguin there. So the penguin place, it has this fun stamp set. It's a huge stamp set as far as lots of images, a couple of penguins, lots of sentiments. And then you can get the 10% bundle savings if you choose to get the punch with it too. And that is in the mini catalog here on page 33. So you can see that and some ideas there, and then you can see what the prices are with the 10% savings with the punch, or just buying things separate too. But I'm glad that that is back in. Hey there, Becky, good to see you. And then the paper here that I'm highlighting is that's got that nice evening evergreen that everybody's loving, and that is from the Tidings of Christmas, and that's just a 6x6 DSP pack. Designer Series paper. I always want to make sure I say that in the annual catalog. Oops, here's the red side. I was going to try and find the greens. Here we go. So all I do for my cards here is just take and cut 2 inches off, so that's 4 inches wide, and then cut it in half to make 2 cards out of it. Of course, I'll find something fun to do with those 2-inch strips. So depending on how many people order to get my cards this month, your card might look like this, or it might look like a red version, which I think will be just as cute. But I kind of just want to give you a heads up on that. And this Glad Tidings, is it? No, Tidings of Christmas. There we go. That is in the annual catalog. You would think it'd be in the holiday catalog, but it's in the annual catalog. So I want to let you know that too. So let me get started with the card before I run out of voice. Okay, I'm just going to set this aside. And to start building my card, I'm going to use that snowflake embossing folder. Here it is. And that is actually a 2-pack. Here, and so the 2-pack, hi Leslie, is called Wintry 3D embossing folder, and I know you've seen me probably use the kind of the pine boughs here, and then this is the snowflake. So both of these are 3D, so they're a little bit thicker, but they are also a little bit narrower, so they will work with the mini cut and emboss, but because I have other things I'm cutting, I'm just using my regular big one. And with this being, I need to have all these pieces because there's so many pieces for this card, but most of it is Evening Evergreen and some Designer Series paper and lots of white. But this is the piece I need here. I cut it about 2.75 by 4, just approximately, but the 4 is the important one. And I'm just going to put that in. And because it's 3D, I'm just using my big chunky platform number 1, and then the gray number 4 plate. And if you guys have older styles of big shots, the number 4 plate is what you will want to purchase separate to do 3D embossing folders, the chunky folders. I like to let people know that because a lot of times you think that you can't do these because your machine's older, but it still works, and I'm glad for that. And hi there, Lois, good to see you on here. How fun is this? And what I love best about the 3D folders is the deep embossing that it gives you. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful embossing folder. And the other one in that 2-pack is just as pretty as well. Since I have my cut and emboss machine out, my penguin is going to be layered on some circle dies. So for that, I'm using my layering circle framelits. I'm not quite at the point where I'm going to use them on my card, but I want to just use one of the regular circles and then one of the scallop circles. And I need to kind of reload my machine, so I'll keep in the plate number 1, and then I'll add kind of that shim number 2, and then get one of my cutting plates here. Maybe I can do both of them at the same time. I'm going to use my Evening Evergreen for the scallop, and then I'm just going to kind of scoot this over and just use a chunk of basic white. Yeah. So I can get those both on there at the same time and run that through, and then I think the rest of it is all just stamping. So I can kind of get my assembly going here like so. Kind of just set aside all those things that I don't need. Okay, and then now I am ready to just get some adhesive going here on my embossed piece of white. Sometimes I think I underestimate embossing on white cardstock. but I think it just really, really shows up so well and is so pretty. So that's always something to keep in mind, that when we do, you know, different embossing things, sometimes I think we always want to reach for colored cardstock thinking that that's going to be, you know, what you need to do. But the white's always so pretty. And then from the Tidings of Christmas, like I said, this is cut 4 by 3. And that I'm just going to get some adhesive on. And this I'm just going to layer over top. I just kind of eye here to make sure I kind of have that 1/4 inch of a matting here. And then I want to line up my sides of my white so that this is going over top that. There we go. I don't want any white hanging over or any of this hanging over too much. So if they're both cut at 4 inches, that should be good. So we've got that. And then I want to just add a little bit of a banner. I didn't want to do a full-blown, because this is a thicker ribbon, I didn't want to do a full-blown wrap around or add any more to this to get something sturdy enough to put ribbon around. And so for this, I'm just going to get out my trimmer, and I'll kind of show you what I do with my trimmer. For some of my thicker ribbons, or when I just want to do a ribbon band, I want to stick with that 4-inch cut here. So I'm just going to put this in at 4 inches. And if it's over a little bit, that's okay. And I'm just going to lift this so that I can cut upwards. And it might be a little unravelly just because sometimes ribbon isn't like paper and it doesn't want to stay in there super, super thick like that. And then I'm going to run my adhesive across there like so, making sure I get it towards the ends. And then sometimes I always get it on here and then I just rub it off with my thumb. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I need my ribbon cutting scissors, and now I'm just gonna trim this so it's a little bit straighter like so, and not so looking so frayed. And same with my other side. Just gonna straighten that up too. Okay, so we have that. And now I'm just gonna lay this down across here and try and keep it straight and steady. And there we have it all the way to the end. So now we have just a little band that kind of just breaks up the pretty paper there and the snowflake embossed white there. Hi Arlene, thanks for joining in tonight. And hi Mary and Connie. Oh, I've got lots of you guys tonight. Maybe I should do evening videos more often. I never know if I'm mentally as sharp to do it for you guys or not. So next I'm going to build up my little circle here. And because this is, the Penguin Place is a photopolymer stamp set, I get out my stamping mat for that. And if you're just joining in, this is the card that I'm making, since a bunch of you jumped in before I could show you the card at the beginning. I'm going to open up my Evening Evergreen ink pad there, and my little tiny pine tree here. I have a couple stamps on here and my pine tree there. I'm just going to ink that up like here and put that off to the side. And then with the same ink pad, I'm going to pull out some scratch paper because this is going to go off my edges. I don't know if I've ever stamped green snowflakes, but I am tonight. So there's this cute little conglomeration of snowflakes and dots, and I love how it makes for a great background for the penguin. And so I don't need to really worry about the middle because that's where the penguin's going to go, but I'm just going to stamp kind of around my tree like that. And so that way it'll catch the edges that I don't need on my scratch paper there. So that's all set to go until I build up my snowman. And you can see the difference. I sometimes have a scallop mat that's a little bit more snug to this, but I wanted more of that green to show around this little white circle there. And I have to think, when I punch with my punch, this is the punch I'm using, so I kind of want to stamp that direction. So I'm going to stamp my penguin here at the top so that I can insert it in my punch the right way. Can you tell I didn't do it the right way when I made my own card the first time? So I had to kind of do some cutting and make an extension arm with a piece of scratch paper to get it in there, and that works. So here's the cute little penguin, just inking him up in my Memento black ink pad, like so. And now is where we get to add little fun features with the pumpkin pie ink pad. And I'll open that up, and we have just a tiny, tiny little nose here. And with this being photopolymer, it's so easy to line that up and get that where it should be. And then same with the feet. There's single feet stamps, and then there's also this little double one that you can just stamp at the same time, which is nice because then you don't have to worry about measuring up and which is going to be taking up more space than the other. So I like that there's those. Oh, Pam, you stopped this morning and I was sleeping then too. I have been sleeping so much, guys, but that is what I need to get over this. I'm glad you're home and made it safely back to the hills. Yay. All right, so now I am ready to punch this out. And like I said, he's kind of like upside down in here, but this is the way it goes. The other punches are for feet on this penguin punch, or for his body too. So this is all we're using for tonight. And I can just set that aside too. So we have this, and I want to decorate him up with a stocking cap and scarf. So what I did is just put those two stamps on a on the same block here, and I'll open up my Real Red pad. Hi there, Shelly. Thanks for joining in. So I'll just ink that up and stamp those out on a piece of paper like that, just saving a block, and it doesn't have to be like easy to see since I'm sharing it with a pine tree, because I'm just stamping it out here, not lining anything up, and then I will cut it out here. So this is where we need that Jeopardy music to kind of sing along. Maybe you guys should sing Christmas Carol since this is a Christmas card. But I was thinking of having this cut out ahead of time for you guys. But sometimes I like to show you that cutting out these little pieces for some might seem tedious, but it really does go fast. So there's lots of nice sharp angles on the scarf, so that makes it easy to cut out, and it's not that big of a piece. So the scarf's already done, and the stocking hat I think is just as easy. You just kind of follow the curve of the stocking cap and then up, and then Stampin' Up! Was gracious enough to put kind of a little fluffy ball on that stocking cap, where it's, if you don't get a nice complete circle, it'll look like you're following the bumps in the tassel of the hat. So that works out really well too. Okay, now that's done as well. And now it's just going to be assembling this little piece here. Let me get my scraps out of the way. So first I'm going to just tack this white circle down on the Evening Evergreen scallop circle like so, and then I'm going to pop up this guy with a couple dimensionals. Oops. And have that here, so I'll tip him over, and I'm just going to use 2 dimensionals on him. And then I want to make sure that we see that cute little tree, so I'm just going to scoot the penguin over a little bit. And then for the scarf, I'm just going to put some just regular adhesive, just kind of run a little bit over that scarf just to get them sticky. That's not going to be popped up, and that's really easy to see where that goes. It just sits right across his neck there. I didn't know if there'd be enough room if I did this first, stamped it across him without like just the stamp and not having an extra layer, and if it would punch out with it, like doing a direct stamp on there, but it does go off over the sides, and I kind of like that extra added look on there too, so that's good. And then for the hat, I do want that popped up, and we need a mini dimensional. I'm going to put that closer to the top of the tassel there, closer to the top of the hat, so that I can kind of nest it on top of his head. And then it's the same dimension, or same height, I should say, as the rest of the pumpkin that I've popped up. So all of a sudden, that cute penguin just looks so much cozier with just those couple of additions. And then I just want to add some more dimensionals to the back side. So I'm going to do about 4 more just to give him some more lift off of the card onto the circle, or from the circle onto the card. So let me get rid of all these dimensionals here. And then I'll just kind of put him across the top like so. And then we need a greeting, and there's several different greetings for different occasions, and that's what I like about the stamp set is there's sentiments for thanks, and like I like you a lot'll, and that goes with it's like a little except a lot, to the coolest friend ever. I've used that. There's happy birthday and different things. So I want to go with season's greetings, and then of course to match that is be cool, be chill, be merry. So for doing that, I'm just going to take my Season's Greetings stamp here from that set and just take a white strip of cardstock. And then with my scissor, I'm just going to cut that straight across just by eyeballing it. I must feel brave tonight. I'm not going to go into exact measurements like so. And then I've got a chunk. Oh, shoot, I should have let that dry a little bit. So maybe I'll do another one because I want it to look nice. So when I take my picture for Facebook, it's not smeared. So let me dry this while I work on the inside. So I'm going to grab my inside sentiment, which is that be cool, be chill, be merry, and ink that up in real red. There we go. And so this font is the same as the outside, so that's a good match. And I'm going to just put this down in the inside of my card right away. And usually I do that the very last, but I want that to dry so I don't smear it again. Okay, so we've got that for the inside, and I love this Evening Evergreen with it being a darker shade. I love how the red and the white and everything just really pop for a fun inside there. Lots of space to write if you're a writer in your Christmas cards. And now this should be ready to maneuver. Oops, I've got some little ribbon on there. Okay, so let me get some tape on there again. And then I just have kind of a scrap of a chunk of Evening Evergreen that I'm just going to put that just like so. And then I can go ahead and eye that. And, excuse me. And then I can cut around that. This was my fear, is that I would start coughing. All right. Let me get some dimensionals on there. And then we have that to add to the bottom. Okay, probably doesn't help that I'm drinking cold water, but that's what I have. Okay, here it is. Ta-da! So we have a finished card. Excuse me, and this will be card number 1 for December. Yes, now I'm almost kind of embarrassed that I attempted to do this, but yeah, I hope to get better each day. And so my plan is to be able to bring you card number 2 tomorrow. I know, and that I think is why I have been really quiet today. My husband hasn't been around. He's been doing errands and things, and so I think tonight is the most I've talked in one time, and I feel like my voice is just getting tight too. So I hope you enjoyed the card and could stick with me through this, and look for the still shot of this card with all the instructions and my host code for December. Take care and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.